Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. So we have the political reopening first cabinet meeting. For the international scene, Justin Trudeau's party wins without an absolute majority. Welcome to our newsroom. It's back to politics today, Tuesday, 21 September 2021, with the first meeting of the Council of Ministers held at the Presidential Palace. The first meeting of the Council was held today at the Presidential Palace, chaired by the President of the Republic, Head of Government Ismail Omar Guelleh, a meeting for the ministers and the President after the vacations. It was the first session of the re-entry and the 12 sessions of the Council of Ministers. On the agenda, several bills were discussed and adopted projects concerning the rectifying finance bill for the year 2021, the assignment of ambassador in the friendly countries. Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, Head of Government, that took place this Tuesday, September 21, 2021, the 12th session of the Council of Ministers. The following texts were examined and approved. Ministry of Budget, the first issue, draft finance law on the final settlement of the state budget for fiscal year 2020, the state's final account of fiscal years 2020 are set at 148 billion for general revenue and 150.9 billion for general expenditure. The execution of the 2021 budget took place in an economic context marked by COVID-19 pandemic. Non-tax revenue are up compared to 2019 achievement by nearly 4 billion. General government expenditure are down by about 8 billion compared to forecast. For current expenditure, they are up sharply compared to the previous year's expenditure. Thus, they rose from 191 billion to 103 billion in 2020, an increase of nearly 12 billion. This increase can be explained by an increase in spending at the use of goods and services essentially directed towards health through the purchase of consumable as well as towards social affairs in the context of food distribution. The Presidency of the Republic has the second issue draft orders on the composition of the member of the board of the director of the Djibouti offices for the development of geothermal energy. The purpose of the draft order is to appoint the member of the board of directors of the Djibouti offices for the development of geothermal energy in accordance with the provision of decree number 2014 33 presidential of 20 February 2014. This draft order replaces order number 2014 393 on the compositions of the member of the board of the director of Djibouti offices for the development of geothermal energy previous to a 3-year period. For the second part of the Council of Ministers communication, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training presented a communication on the start of the school year 2020-2021. He said that the start of the school year was calm and serene in all schools, colleges, high school and training centers in the country. Nearly 153,000 students and 5,000 teachers were involved in this return to school. To this end, the minister reported on the innovations brought about this year, including the expansion of educational offerings, measures for equity, namely the continuations within school to support vulnerable families, textbooks, uniform, school kits, the extension of preschool, the availability of consumable and school supply, the revision of all curricula of the fundamental. He specified that the main priority of the department are the establishment of a modern Djiboutian school in phases with its time ICTE, a school citizen welcoming and open to its environment, as well as citizens who participate in the development of the country. Finally, the minister thanked the civil authorities and the customary chief for their close collaborations in the realization of the school year for students in the region. He also congratulated all the teaching staff for their investment, their dedication, and their abnegation in the services of our children. The Minister of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation spokesman of the government reported on his participation in the 156th ordinary session of the Council of the Arab League at the ministerial level, which was held on 9 September 2021 in Cairo. The Minister of Budget and Agriculture reported on their working visit to Ethiopia from 9 to 13 August 2021. The Minister of Youth Cultures reported on her participation in the Hargeisa International Book Fair, which took place from 24 to 29 June 2021. On the sidelines of the World Bank's regular consultation mission with the Djibouti authorities on the country's development program, under the leadership of the Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Moussa Dawale, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Budget, Abdul Karim Adensher, the member of the National Committee of Public Debt, had a working meeting with the delegations of the World Bank led by regional directors for Djibouti, Egypt, and Yemen, Ms. Marina Weiss. During this meeting, discussions focused on the new measures put in place by the World Bank in the framework of the replenishment of the 19th round of the IDA window. The World Bank team reported that their institution has engaged with its board of directors on the set of interrelated commitments covering debt management and transparency, domestic resources mobilization of infrastructure governance. The team explained that this commitment began with the implementation of the ADA 19 as of July 1st, 2021. Thus, the new Sustainable Development Finance Policy will replace the current non-concessional borrowing policy and will apply to all IDA resources recipient countries to address the increased debt risks in a constrained economic environment for IDA countries. The other information is of this news, a novelty in terms of taxation, and it's a first in Djibouti for more than a year. The tax administration has modernized and equipped itself with the new technological means to improve state revenues, particularly with regards to VAT, and this is in accordance with the will of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. It is an ambitious program that consists of the deployment of a tax box in companies subject to VAT. The electronic box is connected to each cash register at the sale points and allows the transfer of invoice data instantly to the General Tax Department within the General Directions of Taxes. VAT managers have been trained to collect this data and to intervene in cases of suspicious of fraud, since it's a tool of dissuasion against tax fraud. The Secretary General of the Ministry, the Acting Secretary General of the Minister of Budget, Mr. Ahmed Hassan Moyale, explained on this novelty in taxation in Djibouti. The Ministry of Youth and Culture is in close collaboration within the National Commission for Education, Sciences and Culture of Djibouti for UNESCO has organized a national workshop on the in 1970 conventions of the means of prohibiting and preventing the illicit import, export, transfer of ownership of cultural property in Djibouti. This workshop aims to raise awareness among national authorities on the 1970 conventions adopted by UNESCO as a means to fight against trafficking in cultural property. It is to implement measures to protect and promote Djibouti's cultural property, namely museum collections and works around the world. Mr. Mohamed Musa Yabe, Secretary General of the National Commission for Education, Sciences and Culture of UNESCO for Djibouti, UNESCO, welcomed the holding of this workshop, which aims to strengthen the preservation of cultural property. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asowe, received yesterday morning the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Abdul Aziz Abdullah Al Madar, accompanied by the Attaché of the Embassy, Abdurrahman bin Abdullah Al Youssef. From the outset, the discussion focused on the excellent relationship between the two countries, characterized by a historic partnership driven by the political will of the two heads of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. The ambassador, who is at the end of his mandate in Djibouti, insisted at length on the minister's visit to the Holy Land and on the 2013 vision of his country, which has placed youth at the heart of its concern. The ambassador changed, but the priorities and vision remain the same, he concluded. Also, in continuity, a change of command between Colonel Major Mohammed Ali Obsiye, director of the Artas Military Academy, EMIA, and Colonel Mohammed Mumin Abdi, the new director of the EMIA, took place this Tuesday, September 21, 2021, at the 7 a.m. at the Palace of the Report of the Academy. This ceremony, chaired by General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, was attended by Colonel Major Mohammed Qayad Guelleh, Deputy Chief of Defense Staff, Colonel Abdullahi Abdi Farah, Director General of the National Police, the Acting Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, Colonel Ibrahim Ilmi Qaib, and all the major officials of the Djibouti Armed Forces. Note also the participation of the prefect of the region of Arta, the president of the regional council, and the elders after the military honors and the review of the troops. The CMGA, in his agenda, congratulated at length the exemplary career of Colonel Major Mohammed Ali Obsiye. Indeed, after 40 years spent at the head of the military academy of Arta, Colonel Major Mohammed Ali Obsiye, rich in experience of military education, was called to assume another functions within the defense staff. Moreover, the military careers of Colonel Major Mohammed Ali Obsiye remains remarkable. Married and father of 4 children, Colonel Major Mohammed Ali Obsiye was born on March 28 in 1961. And in Dikhil, Colonel Major Mohammed Ali Obsiye joined the Djiboutian Armed Forces on August 1st in 1982 and was then appointed to attend the École Supérieure Spéciale Militaire de Saint-Cyr in France from October 1st, 1928 to July 31 in 19 1984 through his career military. His military career, Colonel Major Muhammad Ali Obsiye has completed all the officer training courses and has reached the rank of Colonel Major on January 1st, 2018 as a reward for performing his duty. Colonel Major Muhammad Ali Obsiye is the holders of the Medal of the Knights of June 27 in 1993, the offices of the Great Star of Djibouti in 2011. In his agenda, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, paid a vibrant tribute to the military career of Colonel Major Muhammad Ali Obsiye. In his speech, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim stressed that Colonel Major Muhammad Ali Obsiye has completed all the training courses of officers and has reached the rank of Colonel Major on January 1st, 2018. And as a reward for doing his duty. In the second part of his speech, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim addressed Colonel Muhammad Mumin Abdi, the new director of Arta Joint Military Academy, appointed by presidential decree as of September 1st, 2021. The Chief of the Defense Staff underlined the crucial importance of the mission he assumed from today as the new director of Arta Joint Military Academy. At the end of his speeches, the Chief of Staff presided over the transfer of command by handing over the flag to the new director of Arta Joint Military Academy, EMIA, Colonel Muhammad Mumin Abdi, designated by presidential decree to command this academy as of September 1st, 2021. Then the two senior officers proceeded to sign the official document of transfer of command. The ceremony ended with the refreshment and the traditional family photo. The president of the University of Djibouti, Dr. Jama, supervised today the good progress of the competition of the students of engineering and BBA, Bachelor in Business Administration, and the amphitheater of the Djibouti University. More than 250 students in engineering and more than 316 students have completed in this competition for admission to the University of Djibouti. Let us also recall that more than 550 students have passed yesterday this competition for admissions to the Faculty of Medicine, accompanied by the Director of International and Regional University Cooperation, the Director of Schooling, the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, and the various head of the department of the university. The President of the University of Djibouti, Dr. Jama, went to the amphitheater of the university where the written tests of the competition for students of engineering and the BBA Bachelor in Business Administration were held. The President supervised the smooth running of the writing test for this competition. The National Police has notified that the drivers of the vehicle do not respect the red light in the capital. Indeed, the accidents caused by the non-respect of these measures have increased. It is in this sense that the National Police has started control to immobilize all the offenders who are now exposed to heavy penal sanctions and the immediate arrest of the vehicle. Important devices of the traffic police have been deployed at all the intersections of the capital. The National Police wishes to inform the population that zero tolerance is now in forces and urges driver of all vehicles to respect the traffic regulations. An official ceremony of reception of donation granted by the government of the Russian Federation through the World Food Program was held this Monday morning at the logistic platforms of the World Food Program in Djibouti. The latter saw the participation of the ambassador of the Russian Federation, His Excellency Mr. Mikhail Golovanov, and the Secretary General of the Ministry of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ifrah Ali Ahmed, accompanied by his close collaborator, the Executive Secretary of ONARS, Hussein Hassan Darar, the representative of the World Food Program, the Director of the Bilateral Relations of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Hussein Hassan Darar. It is within the framework of the cooperation and humanitarian project implemented with the World Food Program that this donation was made in the presence of several partners. This important contribution is composed of basic necessity and is intended for the most vulnerable population of the country, especially those of the interior regions which are facing multiple constraints that threaten their food security. This donation is composed of materials to face the locust invasion and floods linked to the last bad weather, as well as the response to the drought, the recurrent drought, and the COVID-19 pandemic. The representative of the World Food Program has indicated in his speech that this contribution demonstrates the good relationship between Djibouti and Russia, as well as the confidence of the World Food Program to provide humanitarian assistance to people in need. World Food Program takes this opportunity to thank the government of the Russian Federation and His Excellency the Ambassador for their generous contribution, as well as the government of Djibouti for its fruitful and close collaboration. Indeed, thanks to this funding worth $2 million, World Food Program is implemented. Its food distribution plan consisting of 1,026 tons of wheat flour and 117 tons of vegetable oil and 277 tons of pells for a period of 6 months to the most vulnerable populations living in Djibouti. On behalf of the World Food Program, I am very honored because this is the first time that World Food Program has received contribution from Russia to Djibouti. Moreover, this donation is part of the global envelope to Africa of $10 million to World Food Program. The Secretary General of the Minister of Social Affairs Solidarity, Ifrah Ali Ahmed, took the floor to underline the importance of the donations in the humanitarian and social aspect to face the numerous challenges. These donations will benefit the most vulnerable population of the country, especially those in the interior regions who are facing multiple constraints that threaten their security, their food security. Following the information gathered, the police of the detachment of Ali Sabih, led under the command of Commander Mahdi Umar Jama, head of the detachment, arrived in a restaurant located on the Corridor Road, National Road 1, which allowed it to seize 15 cans and 10 barrels of gasoline, as well as 14 cans of gasoline. As a result, this smuggling activity cost the state a loss of earnings and a total amount of 2 million Djibouti francs, and that the owners of this restaurant and his employees will be brought to justice. On the other hand, the police of the Ali Sabih detachment warns the population to avoid all kinds of smuggling which are harmful to the economy of our country. All persons involved in any way in this illicit smuggling activity will be brought to justice. For the international scene, federal elections were held in Canada on Mondays, won by Justin Trudeau's Liberals, according to initial media projections. However, it was a half victory for the ongoing Prime Minister, who failed to regain a majority. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party will win the early federal election held in Canada on Monday, September 20, according to projections made by national television stations at the close of polls, but without achieving its goals of parliamentary majority. According to the CBC, the Liberal Party would win 158 seats, below the 170 required to win a majority. It was precisely to get out of this situation that the party called early elections in mid-August to try to regain the majority it had lost 2 years early. Monday late mornings as he left these polling stations in Montreal, Justin Trudeau says he was serene. We worked very hard during this campaign and Canadians are making an important choice, he told AFP, surrounded by his children and his wife, Sophie Gregoire. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.